Some people make a big deal out of the fact that there are many successful businesses founded by entrepreneurs who didn't have a college degree. We have some successful entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs. As we all know, he is the founder of the Apple. Bill Gates, the Microsoft founder. Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook co founder. Lucia Tan, the owner of Philippine Airlines. We have also Socorro Ramos, known for this national bookstore. Alfredo Yao, for Zesa Corporation, which became popular for the moms before. Ed Garcia II, the owner of Mang Inasal. They chose to grab the opportunity in the business, even though they have this, or maybe because they're not into this education field. They were the dropout at the college level, but then had a good opportunity when it comes to business. We also have Tony Tan, the owner of Jollibee, and Cecilio Pedro for the Lamoyan Corporation, as we all know, the Happy Days. In this chapter, we will identify the different types of entrepreneurs. We will also describe the various stages that entrepreneurs undergone in implementing their business plan. We will identify also the factors that influence entrepreneurial intentions. What is entrepreneur? Entrepreneur starts or comes from the French word entreprendre, which means to undertake. Well, as a young entrepreneur or into business, you should take risk or you should be a risk taker and not to give up easily on what you've started. Joseph Carpenter emphasized the role of entrepreneurs in the book that he made. It is a process of economic transformation. He imposed a theory of economic development. Through their business ventures, entrepreneurs introduce to the market innovations in the form of new products, new processes, new markets, and new organizations. We have two entrepreneurs that we all know, the mega entrepreneurs, which means like we have a very large or huge business which absorb huge risk of using enormous amount of capital in their business. We also have micro entrepreneurs which engage with small businesses as an alternative to formal employment. We have entrepreneurial process. Peter Drucker emphasized discipline in the process of starting and managing a business. He also acknowledged how personal traits and elements of the external environment could influence the outcomes of an enterprise. Thus, strategy is really important. He referred entrepreneurial discipline as entrepreneur process in realization of business ideas. We have here the steps in entrepreneur process. First, the discovery. Discovery refers to the recognition of a business idea or the detection of opportunities that could make money for the entrepreneur. While mega entrepreneurs draw their ideas from current interventions or inventions and other technological developments that can bring about huge profits for them. Like for example, the developers of social network like Facebook. They use the developments in information and communication technology like ICT, wherein to connect people across globe instantly. Similarly, those who introduced smartphones saw the market value of combining capabilities of telephone with camera, television also, computer and other applications of electronic gadgets which will be in hand. On the other side, entrepreneurs typically get their business ideas from the limitations of existing products as well as from simple businesses where markets are easy to enter. For example, the popularity of lechon baboy among Filipinos encouraged other local entrepreneurs to introduce lechon manok in the market. So we started before. So the process of discovery is you have to be aware of what's happening around you if you want to be a young entrepreneur or if you want to be successful in the business because um, without discovering, maybe you will never know that the one you're thinking of or the one you want to put it up as a business of your family or with friends maybe already existing in the market. Next, we have the development of concept. The business idea is then transformed into a business concept. The development of the business concept gives more details on how the general business can be realized. It suggests the preparation of a business plan, which is really important, which must spell out the various activities that must be done from production to the distribution of the product or service. The business plan must also describe how the enterprise is going to be organized and managed, and how the business is going to be financed, among others. So, once you discover something and once you have these ideas in mind, then you have to conceptualize it. That's why we have the development of concept. Next, we have the organizing resources. On the other hand, describes the process of identifying, sourcing, and financing human or non-human and other resources needed for the conduct of business. Mega entrepreneurs usually require highly educated compared to micro entrepreneurship or micro entrepreneurs, technologically savvy and creative employees because it's talk about a large or big corporation or business who are sourced from the best universities and training institutions nationally or globally. So some universities they're really training and with a partners with these business people so that their graduates must be part of um, this entity. Since they are engaged in sophisticated business activities that entail huge capital, they began now to source their funds from the capital market or from venture capitalists. In contrast, micro entrepreneurs draw their resources, including labor, from what is available in their locality. They may include family members as or neighbors as these employees and other workers who might not necessarily have the desired skills but willing to learn and have this um, ability to manage the resources in the business. Aside from being readily available, these resources are relatively inexpensive. Funds for their business operations are usually sourced from family savings, loans from informal lenders, and remittances of relatives working abroad. So, unlike the micro entrepreneurship, they're really prepared about this capital. Maybe they can ask banks also. Next process is the implementation. Once you have the discovery, the concept, and you're organized already on what to do, who will do it, then we can now implement the process. This is how you will carry out the business plan. It covers a number of activities, including the management of human, physical, technological, and financial resources of the business. Implementation also includes mechanism for confronting actual and potential rivals as well as for responding to the various opportunities, challenges, and developments being possessed or posed by external environments. In addition, major changes in the local economy and global market present both opportunities for growth and threats to the survival of business in the industry. There's no perfect environment or perfect business, but then once the owners is a risk taker and have the ability to, to um, overcome every challenges, so the business will be successful. So next, finally, we have the reaping the returns. Reaping returns pertains to the strategies related to the expansion of the business firm. Well, later on, you wanted to expand your business. It also covers mechanism for addressing conditions in the business environments that may affect the future of the firm. So, entrepreneurial ventures, after all, are very dynamic. They usually start as small ventures, then later on, you'll transform into a high quantity and quality of products you'll produce for the consumers, and you expand the business, different branches. So as this small enterprise change, the governance structures and financing mechanism will also change. So therefore, the higher risk that you will take, well, you'll get the higher return once you are going to monitor this kind of business. We have the characteristics of an entrepreneur. While the entrepreneur process is important in the success of business, many entrepreneurship scholars have argued and presented evidence that traits are likewise important in the performance of a business venture. You cannot stay on the top if you just have the skills but you don't have the attitude. So the characteristics of an entrepreneur will vary depending on whether they are in the developed countries pursuing scaffolding entrepreneurship or in developing countries operating small enterprises. So somehow the level of education, employment status, wealth, and risk appetite of entrepreneurs differ depending on the amount of value added or profit created by their enterprises. People say that, of course, this business is successful because the owners have this good quality of education, have a good employment status, or which is suitable on this type of business. But some, wow, this kind of business, like for example Tony Tan, who started with just ice cream parlor, then later become successful, that no one will know that it will happen, right? Or the owner of, or the president of Mercury Drug, which formerly having the push card only for selling the product, but now became this successful and have different branches in Manila. So we have here differences between mega entrepreneurs and micro entrepreneurship when it comes to the trades. So they believe that level of education, or maybe the entrepreneurs, need some formal education to be able to seize the opportunities presented by inventions, innovations, and other technological developments. Like you cannot innovate some things without this level of education, but some they're really skillful even they're undergraduate. Mega entrepreneurship, or mega entrepreneurs, since they need some degree of technological know-how to understand the commercial potentials of modern inventions and innovations. In developed countries like the United States, some of more successful entrepreneurs are engineers who are able to recognize business opportunities being offered by the latest development in ICT. So that's why it's really helpful for them to have this kind of business, because they have this level of education which is suitable to the field. On the other hand, since entrepreneurship in developing countries is more often being used as an alternative to formal employment, many micro entrepreneurs usually have limited educational qualifications, but then they're striving hard. So, for example, one doesn't need a college degree or high school diploma to introduce binalot na adobong manok to be sold in Jolly Dips in Makati. But still, they are innovative, creative, even there's limited educational qualifications. Thus, degree of human resource qualification will depend on the type of business venture that are being established by entrepreneurs. Next trait is the employment status that people believe to become entrepreneurs in the developed countries, former employees of companies in the formal sector. So most of them, they're um, part of the company before. So they studied about how this business started, how much was the capital, and how about the process, the management, everything. So then later on, they put up their own business somehow related to what they have in the previous employment. These entrepreneurs usually get their business ideas and concept from the operations of companies they formerly worked for. Knowing the ins and outs of a company's operation, including flaws and weaknesses, they become aware of business opportunities. That's why employment status also is one of the characteristics of an entrepreneur. Next is entrepreneur's wealth. The wealth of entrepreneurs is also an important factor. Usually, mega entrepreneurs source their funds from their own wealth and from their families. Some generate capital for their business from the borrow money from the wealthy parents, or maybe past employments they saved in. This is not the case of micro entrepreneurs who have very limited funds. Many of them are too poor to have substantial savings to finance a big business venture. In addition, because of their limited human and non-human resources, they cannot avail of credit from financial institutions. So they started a small business only. We have also the last characteristic is a risk appetite. Risk is also an important factor in understanding any business ventures. So risks are associated with uncertainties in business operation. These uncertainties can threaten the survival and stability of a business enterprise. So that's why it's really important that you have to know the hazards or the risk in the company. You have to be ready. You need to have a lot of plan um, to solve or to cover to cope with different situations. Entrepreneurial traits and entrepreneurial intentions. Every individual who set up a business venture started out by intending to do so. Thus, we examine entrepreneurial intentions, which are planned actions formulated in the mind of individuals, which are geared toward the objective of establishing a business venture from potential business opportunities. How are these intentions formulated? So, based on the studies, there are two broad set of factors that may influence the formation of entrepreneurial intentions. We have the internal and external factors. Basically, internal factors include mainly the qualities of individuals, such as demographics, the gender, the marital status, the age, the employment status of individuals who are likely to form entrepreneurial intentions. For example, entrepreneurial activities generally increase with age but decrease beyond a certain age of level. Also, married individuals are more likely to entertain entrepreneurial intentions than single individuals. Next factor, internal factor is the personal trait. There are theoretical bases for contributions of self-confidence, determination, enthusiasm, and other positive human qualities influencing the intentions. However, studies have shown that these personal traits are weak predictors of entrepreneurial intentions. So it's really important to know that some people, once they heard that, oh, the age is this one, still young, I want to leave on this kind of business, the attitude is not good, I won't buy on these products, on his or her products, I won't recommend this kind of business because of the attitude and the skills, all these things. So it's really important to know these traits. Second is the psychological traits, includes a host of qualities including need for achievement, risk appetite, acceptance of values, self-efficacy, and goal setting. As discussed earlier, knowledge and skills learned from prior employment are valuable in setting up a business. You need to have a prior knowledge about the field that you're going to or into, because it also like a requirement if you're going to put up a business, that why you need to put up this business, what is your skills, why do you want to proceed or to pursue this type of business, do you have any skills. So it is really important. Since a business enterprise is a socio-economic institution, its operation will require the entrepreneur to deal with a lot of people. Thus, having social ties might be an important consideration for setting up a business or not. So, these are the entrepreneurial intentions. Again, we have the internal factors: demographic, personal traits, psychological traits, individual skills, knowledge, and social ties. So, sometimes it is a big help if you have a social ties. And then we have the external factors. Beside the effects of the previously mentioned internal factors, externals are also significant determinants among these. We can support or we can have a wide idea how or when we need to put up the business or the purpose of this kind of business. So we have for environmental support under external factor. Many studies have affirmed the positive effect of government, financial institutions, and training institutions in setting up this business. An individual will be declined to pursue entrepreneurship if support from various government agencies are forthcoming. So for example, the availability of credit provided by financial institutions can encourage individuals to pursue business, so they can the banks will offer, the institutions will offer money wherein the individuals can borrow and then can put up their business. While potential entrepreneurs might also be motivated to pursue their intent if technically adept workers and other human resources produced by schools and other training institutions are readily available. So if they have a partnership with the business entity, then if these graduates are well trained, then they can easily get from them. We have environmental influence also under the external factors, includes regulatory structure, patents, protection of property rights, and competitive environment. Government regulations are important, particularly in promoting public interest, like addressing information asymmetry, labeling, and proper disclosure. Limiting negative externalities like taxes and others, however, overregulation and heavy taxation from the government. This can encourage or discourage potential entrepreneurs. In addition, protection of intellectual property rights. Of course, everything about law, when you put out a business, like taxes or some funds, which will have, which will be an expense for the entity, then this might then discourage the entrepreneurs.